We be live. Shalom, shalom, everyone. How's everyone doing? Please make sure you like the stream. This news is very important because we have some very, very recent updates. I was going to talk about some analysis, but then I saw Trump just said something new, and Witkoff just came and said something new, and Mike Waltz came and said something new, and the entire analysis of this live stream changed. So we need to actually look into all of that. Hi guys. Hey, shalom, shalom. I see people in the chat are saying hi. It's D here. Jack is here. Sarah is here. Oh, Sarah is here. Both Sarahs are here. The other Iranian Sarah and Israeli Sarah, they're both here. Iranian Sarah is behind the scenes. She's the one who's highlighting the comments. Thank you so much to both Sarahs, because I think the Israeli Sarah is going to be highlighting our next stream, which is going to be on a completely different topic on my personal channel. Let me actually put that in the live chat so you guys could, after this stream is over, we're going to go to my personal channel and we're going to cover how science and technology and AI is going to be able to make us live forever. That's the link to that. So make sure, all the promises that religion makes, they're false lies, but science is actually delivering on what religion has promised. So that's going to be the stream that we're going to be doing on this one on my personal channel. So that's the link. Right when we're finished here, we're going to hop over there. And Sarah, Israeli Sarah, is going to be highlighting that one. But let's focus on what just happened, what Trump just said, what Witkoff just said, and what Mike Waltz just said, and we're going to talk about all of these people and how that's changing by the minute. Like the potential of whether or not we're going to go to war or not, or whatever. We're going to see. We're going to go through details in a way that you're not going to see on other streams. I promise you. I've been following both mainstream media and alternative media, and I mean, this level of deep analysis, you are going. Oh, what happened? My audio got cut. Do you have my audio? How long have you had? How long was it that you had no? Did you not have my audio? Is my audio okay now? Was it like this from the beginning of the stream, or did it just happen now? Okay, back. Was it just a few seconds or for a long time? 10 seconds. Okay. So I was saying that I promise you that you're not going to see analysis deep, this nuance and this deep anywhere else. Okay. Not in English social media, on English media or Persian media, not mainstream media, not alternative media. So let me actually show you this is a short version of it, and then we're going to go to a longer version of it. Let's see what Trump said here. But before I play this, let me actually explain to you what's happening so you have some context. Here's the context. There are three elements with regards to negotiating with between Trump and the Iranian regime on whether or not there's going to be a war, whether or not the United States and Israel, or Israel with the support of the United States, are going to be attacking the Islamic Republic on Iranian soil or not. Okay, so we're going to be entering a war, based on whether this negotiations just started. On Saturday, we had the first round of negotiations in the country of Oman. The second round is going to be Rome, Italy. So negotiations have started. If you don't know that they have started, now you know. Everybody who's watching this is wondering, what are these negotiations going to be about? Because since the beginning, when Trump came in and put maximum pressure on the Iranian regime, the executive order that he was signing and the words that were coming out of his mouth, they were contradictory, and the contradiction is now escalating, and we are going to emphasize on the contradiction, because when he was signing that executive order, Trump was saying that all he wants is for Iran not to have nuclear weapons. But the executive order that he was signing while he was saying that was asking for so much more. By the way, guys, I changed the position of my microphone. Let me know if my audio quality is better. Oh, guys, is that really Rome canceled? What the hell? So is that just happened? My God, I don't know if that's true. I will check. I will check if that happened or not. Did this? Tehran says next Iranian attacks after Rome floated next round of Iranian attacks to be held in Rome. Okay, no, that was 24 hours ago. So are you guys suggesting that something happened in the past hour or so? Another invoice says Iran can stop. No, we don't know if it's canceled yet. Of okay, guys, if if the Rome, is that true? Sarah, is that true? The Rome negotiation was canceled. Somebody can confirm this for me. Anyways, that doesn't change the analysis that we're going to have on this video. So okay, so the Trump was saying the only thing he cares about is nuclear, but the executive order that he was signing was asking for these are the three main elements: no nuclear, no support of the regime's proxies like Hamas, Hezbollah, Houthis, and all the others, and ballistic missiles of the Iranian regime cannot be intercontinental. They have to be much shorter range. The Iranian regime has said there is no way we're going to be talking about those other two, supporting of the proxies or what is the range of our ballistic missiles. That is no way we're going to talk about that. With regards to the nuclear, the details of that the Iranian regime has been signaling that they don't want that to be the negotiation to be direct. It has to be indirect. The Trump administration said that no, it's going to be direct. The negotiation is going to be direct. And another key element is when it comes to nuclear, the Iranian regime has said that we will always continue enriching uranium. In fact, the enriching uranium that we do has never been for nuclear weapons, which is bullshit. That's a lie. But we are willing to let others come and validate whether or not we are only enriching uranium to the point where it cannot be used for nuclear weapon. However, the Trump administration has been contradicting on this matter as well. The Trump administration, certain people within Trump administration talk as if they don't want the reduction of uranium enrichment in Iran. They want the complete dismantlement of the entire nuclear program by Iran. So that's another key element. So remember, there's three things that they want to talk about. Some people say that it should be all three. Some people should say it's only nuclear, especially the Iranian regime says only nuclear. And with regards to nuclear, there's two major discussion, whether the negotiations are direct or indirect, and whether the negotiations are about making sure Iran's enrichment of uranium is to the point where you cannot use for nuclear, or the complete dismantlement. People like us who are against the Iranian regime, it's absolute nonsense for you not go for the maximum. The Iranian regime is at its weakest it has ever been, both internally and externally, and the United States has the upper hand. So the United States should be going for the maximum that it could get, meaning when it comes to nuclear, complete dismantlement. When it comes to ballistic missiles, no surrendering, no backtracking. Ask for the maximum. And when it comes to supporting proxies, and let's be honest, these are when we're talking about proxies, we're talking about the support of terrorism, right? Support of terrorism. We're talking about supporting Hamas. We say the proxies of Iranian regimes. What we're talking about is terrorist militia groups. And so the fact that that's not even being on the table is crazy. It's crazy that Trump is not. And let me tell you something. The Israeli government is so angry. And Netanyahu is not showing his anger when he's meeting with Trump, because honestly, Trump is kind of scary. And if you get in on his bad side, he will just go crazy and he will just like go full on against you. So Netanyahu cannot be as aggressive against the Trump administration as he is against the Democrats, because he needs to be on Trump's good side. That's the only way you could get things from Trump. But let me tell you, if the negotiations go the way it's going right now, the Trump administration is going to be giving to the Iranian regime more appeasement that, yes, exactly. Start that. I will get back to that. More, thank you, sir. More appeasement than the Democrats ever have. So let me show you the contradictions, because at first Witkoff went to Oman. They talked to the Iranian, to Araghchi, which is the foreign minister of Iranian regime, and whether the negotiation, whether it was direct or indirect, the Trump administration says it was direct. The Iranian regime says it was indirect. So apparently it was a little bit of both. They did most of the talk indirectly. The people from Oman were just basically. Actually, I have a picture of the how indirect the negotiation was. People send me footage of the indirect negotiations between the Iranian regime and the U.S. The Witkoff, which was the U.S. Trump's the person Trump said. Hold on, let me see if I have. This is a footage of the negotiations that nobody has, guys. So the Oman people, the officials were running in between the two rooms, doing the here. This is going in between the rooms. This is the indirect negotiation. So the Omani officials were constantly going between their hotel rooms, trying to communicate between the Iranian officials and the American officials, the Witkoff and Araghchi. And this is what on Iranian social media is being posted as the footage of the negotiation. Okay, so let's go to. So here's the thing: Witkoff just came out and recently said, Trump said that the negotiations were going okay. He didn't say amazing. He didn't say it was bad. He said it was okay. But then he came out, and some people who are anti-Iranian regime were kind of not happy with that, because they're not. Witkoff is not, guys. Trump has chosen Witkoff to go do the negotiations with Hamas, with Russia, with Putin, and with the Iranian regime. And the guy is not very politically savvy. So he's a businessman, and he's very smart when it comes to business stuff, and Trump likes him, but his knowledge on politics is so low. I mean, just go watch his interview with Tucker Carlson, and the things that he says about Ukraine and Russia is just like, what are you talking about? The guy has no idea what he's talking. So Trump didn't say. I mean, if Trump said like Marco Rubio, that would be fucking amazing. This would be amazing. But they sent Witkoff, and Witkoff sucks at this. So the Israelis are not happy with Witkoff, and the Iranian people are not happy with Witkoff. And Trump came out and said the negotiations were going okay. So a lot of people thought like, okay, it seems like the Iranian regime has the upper hand. And then Trump came out and said this, and then people were like, okay, maybe this is good. And then I'll tell you what Witkoff said after. And then people were like, holy shit, what the fuck? So let's listen to this one. Actually, let me see what you guys. I will read your comments soon, but let me actually listen to what Trump said here.
Can't have nuclear weapons.
This is a shorter version. I have a longer version here. Let me see. This is 1 minute and 20. Oh yeah, this is a longer version. The audio of this one is not as good, but at least it's longer. So I want a longer version. Here, let's listen to this.
Yeah. Well, they have to solve their problem very quickly. Iran wants to deal with us, but they don't know how. They really don't.
So it says Iran wants to deal with us, but they don't know how. The Iranian regime doesn't know how to deal with us.
I don't know how. We had a meeting with them on Saturday.
He's talking about the Witkoff, Steve Witkoff, meeting with Araghchi in Oman. That's the meeting he's talking about.
We have another meeting scheduled next Saturday. I said, that's a long time.
Next Saturday in Italy, they have a next meeting. That's what he's referring to. And then Trump said here that he doesn't like the fact that it's taking week by week. So the fact that he wants this to be faster, and the fact that he said that's a long time, a lot of Iranians were like, okay, good. That means maybe Trump is not satisfied. In the plane, when he said the negotiations are going okay, some people were like, why is Trump happy with these negotiations? He should be unhappy. Here, when he said that that's a long time, some Iranians were happy that, okay, so maybe he's not as satisfied.
That's a long time. That's a long time. So I think that might be tapping us a lot.
Okay, so I think they might. Don't know. Wait, what? These subtitles are not correct. I think they might be what along?
That's a long time. So I think that might be tapping us a lot.
I don't know what that word is. I think so. The strategy of the Iranian regime is to use negotiations as a way to constantly delay things and just delay, 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 delay. The whole point, that's the strategy of the Iranian regime, to use negotiation as a delay tactic. And a lot of Iranians were happy with what he said here because they saw that Trump understands. They're like, oh my God, look, Trump is so smart. He understands the tactics of the Iranian regime. He got it. This is something that the Democrats never understood. That the purpose of negotiations for the Iranian regime is never to actually get to anything, but to just keep delaying things. And Trump really got that right away. So great job, Trump. So let's see what he says next.
But Iran has to get rid of the concept of a nuclear weapon. They cannot have.
So Iran has to get rid of nuclear weapons. So here we need to know what does this mean? What does this mean? Because when Trump says Iran has to get rid of its nuclear weapon, everybody wants to know whether or not this means that reducing the enrichment of uranium is enough, or are you talking about the dismantlement of the entirety of their nuclear program? Because if they get satisfied with just reduction of enrichment of uranium, then Trump's like, oh, well, that's enough, because that means that they can't have nuclear weapon. There's two problems with that. One, a reduction in enrichment in uranium to the point where it cannot be used for nuclear weapons, that is something that could be undone very fast. So the Iranian regime were like, oh, okay, we signed the deal and we reduce the enrichment of uranium. Well, at any moment, if they want, they could just go like, okay, we don't like you guys violated the deal with some excuses, and they could go back up. The only thing that the United States should be accepting is not the reduction in enrichment uranium, but complete dismantlement, something that could not be undone. And another problem with reduction enrichment of uranium is that this is what the JCPOA was that Obama signed, that Trump threw away. That Trump threw away the JCPOA deal with that Obama signed with the Iranian regime for a couple of reasons. One of them, because there was no discussions regarding the missiles, regarding the proxies, and the enrichment of uranium, reducing it to a certain point. That's exactly the Obama deal. All right, so let's continue. Let's see what Trump said here.
He can't have a nuclear weapon. No.
So Trump is saying he can't have a nuclear weapon. He basically says nobody can have nuclear weapons.
Can't have anybody having nuclear weapons. Can't have.
So Trump is very much against all nuclear weapons for anybody, including United States.
Nuclear weapons, and I think they're tapping us along because they.
Oh, they're tapping us along. He said, I think they're tapping us along. So some Iranians were happy that Trump is saying that, because he said that, Trump is reading their hand. He understands what the other side is doing.
Used to dealing with stupid people in this country, and
he's talking about the Biden administration, he's saying he's basically Trump's understanding is that the Iranian regime is doing this because they're so used to dealing with the Biden administration and the Obama administration, which are stupid. So he's saying that the Iranian regime thinks that I'm stupid as well. So this might mean that Trump is not going to be happy with the fact that these negotiations are going week by week. Okay.
Had Iran.
Oh, let me see what Sarah sent me something about. I heard Rome canceled and changed to. Oh, Muscat. Oh, okay. So the negotiations hasn't been canceled. Apparently, the location of the deal, the negotiation, the next week's negotiation has been changed, not the actual negotiations. Okay, thank you, Sarah, for that update. Maybe. Okay, well, I'll double check for future streams.
Perfect. You had no attacks. You would have never had October 7th in Israel, the attack by Hamas, because Iran was broke. It was stone cold broke when I was president, and I don't want to do that. So
the audio is low, right? But do you guys hear it enough to understand what he's saying? He's saying the October 7th attack would never have happened if I was president, because the Iranian regime was broke.
Great nation. The
only now he says, so here's the problem about what the difference between what Trump says and Netanyahu says is so Trump keeps saying that I want Iran to be a great rich nation. And Netanyahu says that as well. But apparently, the way Trump says it, he considers Iran being able to become a great big nation, rich nation, with the Islamic Republic in power as long as they give up their nuclear weapon. This is completely different from the vision of Netanyahu. That's why I tell Iranian people that even with Trump, Israel is a much closer ally to the Iranian people than United States will ever be. Because in Trump's mind, Iran could be great with the Islamic Republic in power as long as they just give up their nuclear weapons. But in Netanyahu's mind, no, Iran can never be great with Islamic Republic in power. And that is a huge difference between the way Trump looks at Iran and Netanyahu looks at Iran. And that Netanyahu's way of looking at Iran aligns with more Iranian people. Okay?
To be a rich, great nation. The only thing is, one thing, simple. It's really simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, like they could be a great nation. The only thing that it matters is that they can't have a nuclear weapon. The only thing. That's it. And they will be great. No, that they would not be great. As long as the Islamic regime is in power, Iran will not be great. This is bullshit.
And they got to go fast because they're fairly close to having one. And they're not going to have one. And if we have to do something very harsh, we'll do it.
So Jack is saying, why does reducing enrichment make nuclear weapons impossible? Can't you stockpile them? No, it's the degree of purity. Like it's not just how much you have it, is whether you're enriching them by 60% or by 2 or 3%. Okay, so Iran is like enriching the uraniums up to 60%, which no country that is not building nuclear weapons would not need 60%. For energy or for medical research or whatever, you only need up to like 3% or something of enrichment of uranium. So no, even if you're enriching uranium to 3%, no matter how much you stockpile, you still can't use it for nuclear weapons, right?
And I'm not doing it for us, I'm doing it for the world. And these are radicalized people.
He says, I'm not doing this for us, I'm doing it for the world. Wouldn't the MAGA people be upset about that? Like, I'm not doing this for us, I'm doing this for the world. What happened to America first?
I'm doing it for us, I'm doing it for the world.
Huh?
And these are radicalized people, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon. Of course it does.
Oh, wait, that part was important. Did you hear that? Guys, I know the audio of this one is bad, but listen to this.
I'm doing it for us, I'm doing it for the world.
No, Gera is saying, I believe Trump wants to trap Iran step by step. Don't listen to what he says, see what he does. That's not true. Trump is very, very much honest here. He has been consistent with this. He always says, like, all I want is for them not to have a nuclear weapon. If you ever see that the Trump guys, I know you want Trump to be. This is coping. I think this is coping. You like Trump, so you want him to have views that is similar to yours. So he's telling you what he believes, and like, I don't believe it. I think actually he believes what I believe. Okay, this is coping. This is coping. I mean, look at Israeli analysts. Look at how pissed off Netanyahu and his cabinets are. Do they know you? Do they know better than you and me? Okay, they are pissed. They are worried. So if they're worried, that means that Trump is serious about being satisfied with Iran just not having nuclear weapons. Why would they be worried? That is why. Where's Amir's comment? That is why Netanyahu is saying something that he doesn't usually say. So Netanyahu knows that he cannot be anti-Trump the way he takes positions against the Democrats. So when he went and talked to Trump in the White House, he came out and said, okay, fine. We will agree with negotiations, something that he would usually not say, because Netanyahu says these are people that you cannot negotiate with. So see, Netanyahu is smarter than Zelensky, because Zelensky was trying to convince Trump that Putin is not somebody that you can negotiate with. He will basically backstab you and go against every agreement that he signed on every fucking time. So Zelensky was trying to convince Trump of the nature of Putin, but because he was hostile and pushing back against Trump, it didn't work. But Netanyahu has the same view about the Iranian regime that Zelensky has about Putin. But Netanyahu understands that you do not go to Trump and tell him that you're wrong. Because if you tell Trump that you're wrong, he will fuck you up. Like, he doesn't care. Even if you're an ally, he will come back. He's very aggressive if he doesn't like you, right? So Netanyahu is like, oh my God, you're so smart. This is good. We're going to negotiate. Okay, fine. It needs to be the Libyan model then, right? It needs to be like Libya. And also the Iranian administration, when they hear that Libyan model, they hear the Gaddafi model, because look at what happened to Gaddafi after the Libyan model. Like, the Libyan model means the complete dismantlement, okay? This is why people are like, okay, fine. If you're going to negotiate, do the Libyan model, and hopefully that means that the regime in Iran will go the way of Gaddafi at some point, okay? Especially because if you do the Libyan model and you do a complete dismantlement, even if there is no war, that is going to start so much infighting within the Iranian regime over the fact that they allowed the murderer of Qasem Soleimani to come and destroy all of the nuclear facilities in Iran. That would cause the acceleration of the end of the Iranian regime without a war. So we can be happy with that, even if there is no war, as long as there's a complete dismantlement of the nuclear weapons, right? However, the way Witkoff is speaking right now is as if, like, no, that's not what we'll see. Like, there's back and forth. Gera is saying Trump wants a deal because he wants to trap Iran in a bad deal for Iran. Trump wants good things for Iran. He says that. He said that he wants, first of all, it's not Iran, it's the Iranian regime. And unfortunately, Trump thinks that if the Iranian regime puts its nuclear ambitions away, the Iranian regime, not Iran itself, the Iranian regime could be great. Okay? He says that and he believes it. And I know because you like Trump, you want to believe that he doesn't believe that, but don't listen to me. Listen, I mean, I see you have the Star of David. I don't know if you trust analysts of Israel and if you trust the intelligence that is coming out of Israel itself, then believe them if you don't believe me. But guys, do not try to, if you admire somebody and if you like somebody, don't try to just come up with excuses for why they believe what you think what you want them to believe. Okay, that's called coping. Anyways, I don't want to go back and forth on this. If you disagree, let's just disagree on that. However, even here's what I will give you. Even if Trump wants for the Iranian regime to have it be great. I mean, Trump loves dictators, to be honest, right? And I can see why he might actually start speaking nicely about them if they give in to him. If they give in to him when it comes to this nuclear thing, Trump might actually start praising them as well. Not just the Iranian people, but the Iranian regime. We saw that he does that. He was very aggressive against North Korea's regime, but then after that, he became very friendly with Kim right after they started signing a deal. So we have a history of that. But what might happen is that even if Trump speaks like this, because this is very difficult for the Iranian regime to tolerate, we still might see this whole thing falling apart, and Trump's and hopefully Netanyahu manages to force the hand of United States into more pressure. And actually, I have more pictures for you guys to show you how flexible the Iranian regime is becoming, because they are actually terrified. Let me actually, good thing I remember, download these pictures for you from inside Iran. But let me actually play the last part of what Trump said here. Hold on.
And these are radicalized people, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, this is the rocket Kim phase.
Of course it does.
Oh, so guys, listen to the question of the. Maybe I could hear it here better.
And I think they're tapping us along because we're so used to dealing with stupid people in this country. And I had Iran perfect. You had no attacks. You would have never had October 7th in Israel, the attack by Hamas. because Iran was broke. They were stone cold broke when I was president. And I don't want to do it. I want them to be a rich, great nation. The only thing is one thing, simple. It's really simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. And they got to go fast because they're fairly close to having one. And they're not going to have one. And if we have to do something very harsh, we'll do it. And I'm not doing it for us. I'm doing it for the world.
So this part, if we have to do something harsh, we will do it. That made a lot of Iranian people happy about this part, okay?
And these are radical.
So look, listen to the question of the reporter here.
People, and they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Oh my God, they didn't include the question. What the fuck? Let me go back to here. Listen to the question.
Of course it does.
Okay, so the question by the reporter, which was very low, he said, does that mean that you could, that you are going to be targeting, like bombing the nuclear facilities? Like when you say harsh, does that mean? And Trump said, of course it does. Of course it does mean that. Okay, so that made some Iranians happy. And then this just came out, and I haven't even seen this on Iranian social media being shared yet that widely. But listen to this. This is the guy that we do not like, the Israelis don't like, and a lot of anti-regime Iranians don't like. And this is the guy that the Trump administration has sent to do the negotiations, okay? And listen to what he says here.
This message.
So here, let me actually read the caption. White House Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, appears to confirm tonight on Fox News that the Trump administration is no longer pushing for total denuclearization of Iran or the destruction of its nuclear program, instead wishing to impose limits on Iran's enrichment of uranium and the weaponization of its nuclear program, very similar to the 2015 Iran nuclear deal, which is the Obama deal. This is the Obama deal. This is like the Obama deal bring back. But listen to this. Listen to this part.
This message of peace through strength, it resonates throughout the world. This is not a threat on my part now. It is just a simple fact. The president means what he says, which is they cannot have a bomb. The conversation with the Iranians will be much about two critical points. One, enrichment. As you mentioned, they do not need to enrich past 3.67%. In some circumstances, they're at 60%. In other circumstances, 20%. That cannot be. And you do not need to run, as they claim, a civil nuclear program where you're enriching past 3.67%. So this is going to be much about verification on the enrichment program.
Verification on the enrichment program. That is what? So they can have, okay, that's not good.
And then ultimately verification on weaponization. That includes missiles, the type of missiles.
Okay, so this part was a little bit, this part is welcome because remember I told you there's three things. Is the enrichment of uranium, it's supporting of proxies, and it's the missiles. So here, some people welcome this part because apparently he wants to include the missiles as part of the conversation. But even here, they're not talking about the support of the proxies, the terrorist groups in the region, like Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis. Even here, he's not mentioning any of that. Like, that's not even part of the negotiation. Like, they're not even pressuring the Iranian regime to stop doing that. This is very weak. I mean, God, like the United States has brought 6 B-2 bombers. They brought two aircraft carriers. They brought the thought system, the defense system. Like, they're fucking ready to blow shit up, and they have the upper hand, and the Iranian regime has never been this weak. And this is the minimum. What are these asks? I mean, you didn't even start with asking so much and then bringing it low. You're asking for the minimum. Like, he's not even putting the request for the demand for stopping the support of these terrorist groups in the region as part of the negotiation.
That includes missiles, the type of missiles that they have stockpiled there, and it includes the trigger for a bomb.
So, guys, look at, if you guys don't believe what I'm saying, I just saw Emily Schreider, friend of the show, basically post this very same video, and this is her analysis. So let's read that together. Emily is saying this is absolutely insane. U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff tells to Fox that Trump is seeking to limit Iran's enrichment to 3.67%. So basically, JCPOA, guys, JCPOA was the Obama deal. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so you guys could read as well. So basically, JCPOA and the Islamic regime in Iran is saved from collapsing once again by American incompetence on the backs of murdered Iranians, Israelis, and the countless Arab Muslims across the Middle East. If it happens, this is a very good take. Thank you, Emily. If this happens, it will be an unprecedented betrayal of the Iranian people and of the Israeli people. Unprecedented, not because the West hasn't thrown Iranians under the bus before, but because we are at the time in which this terrorist dictatorship is already in the verge of collapse. We just need to stop saving them. Even after this regime shoots protesters in the eye and uses sexual assault as a method of oppression against their own people, even after they fund terror proxies, which murder hundreds of Americans, kidnap foreign nationals, and go on rape and murder sprees across the Middle East, the U.S. thinks limiting Iranian enrichment to 3.67% will fix the problem. Unbelievable arrogance. Okay, so apparently there was a lot of pressure on Witkoff. So I just saw right before I come on the stream, I was like looking like the news on this, and then Witkoff apparently came here and backtracked a little bit. So let's watch this. Witkoff came and said, any nuclear deal must see Iran's stop and eliminate enrichment and weaponization program. Okay, so apparently a lot of people called Witkoff and like, hey man, what the fuck are you on about? What are you talking about? So he came out and clarified. So this is good. I mean, I'm being honest. This is honest. This is good because he's using the word eliminate. Okay, and guys, if they want to eliminate, that might mean that no matter how much Trump wants a deal, honestly, a deal might not happen if they want to eliminate, because because the Iranian regime is desperate to sign a deal, but it would also be very, very, very fucking difficult for them to sell it internally. The elimination of enrichment of uranium in Iran is a very hard sell to the remaining supporters of the Iranian regime inside Iran. That would be fucking devastating. So this is what we should be pushing, like Americans, especially MAGA Americans. They should be pushing the regime like to want elimination, not reduction of enrichment, the complete dismantlement. Let me actually see what the clarification was. So here, apparently toughening the U.S. position in a nuclear negotiation with Iran, U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, says any agreement with Tehran must see the Islamic Republic stop and eliminate. Okay, eliminate is a word that I like. Okay, this I like. Eliminate its nuclear enrichment and weaponization program. Witkoff issues the statement after indicating yesterday that the U.S. was looking to limit Iran's uranium enrichment. Okay, so see, this is after people basically started getting angry. So Witkoff issues this statement after indicating yesterday that the U.S. was looking to limit Iran's uranium enrichment rather than dismantle its nuclear program together. So this is what he said. A deal with Iran will only be completed if it is a Trump deal, he says today. Any final arrangement must set a framework for peace, stability, and prosperity in the Middle East, meaning that Iran must stop and eliminate its nuclear enrichment and weaponization program. It is imperative for the world that we create a tough, fair deal, yada, 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 that will endure, and that is what President Trump has asked me to do. Okay, so this is this guy, Mike Waltz, okay? So again, he is the language that is coming out of, this is Pete Hegseth. The language that is coming out of his mouth is a lot better than Witkoff. So, and also I have another video. Honestly, Mike Waltz and Hegseth look a little bit, white people sometimes look, Pete Hegseth and Mike Waltz look like each other. And I have Mike Waltz here saying something very similar earlier. Okay, I already shown you this. This was a little bit old, but I just want to show you other people within the Trump administration have a better language about this compared to Mike Waltz. And I wish these hawks were the ones who were actually doing the deal. So let's actually listen to Pete Hegseth and see what the language is here.
You're not going to mess with the United States. Iran, come to the table, negotiate full dismantlement of your nuclear capabilities, and then that doesn't have to be your future.
And the president.
Okay. So full dismantlement. So this was the language of Pete Hegseth: full dismantlement, not reduction of enrichment uranium. Okay, but again, I mean, the fact that this is what we're asking is crazy, because the fact that what about the missiles and the support of the proxies? Like we have shifted, our expectations have been lowered. Like we were hoping for the negotiations to be about the support for proxies, the ballistic missiles, plus the dismantlement of the nuclear capabilities. Now those two is like we're not discussing those two other things that much, and we're just hoping like, hey, when it comes to nuclear, can you make sure that it's full dismantlement rather than reduction of enrichment? Like this is a lower ask compared to that we have before. The fact that we're even getting happy a little bit that they're talking about full dismantlement kind of suggests that the two other asks are slowly being thrown away. And again, unfortunately, Trump's language constantly suggests that, the two other asks are not even there. It's all just about nuclear. By the way, I see super chats. I will read the super chat soon. Also, a lot of people are like, oh, this is the trap. This is the trap. But this is against the art of the deal. Like, I thought the art of the deal, the way it works is that you ask for so much so that you could get something in the middle. That's not how but this is not how they're negotiating. I mean, that would make sense. Like, whatever Trump does, even if it goes against his other strategies, people are like, no, this is a trap. This is Trump playing, I don't know, 4D chess upside down under the water with his eyes closed. Okay, something like that. In space. I don't know. I don't know. But like what the way negotiations are done is that you ask for so much more and you put maximum pressure, and then maybe you get something a little bit less. But right at the very fucking beginning, they're asking for less. How is this a trap? How is this a trap? This is the opposite of a trap. This is the opposite of a trap. A trap would be to be like, hey, this is to ask for something ridiculous that they would not want to give, and then eventually you normalize that and you get something in the middle. If right at the beginning of negotiations you're asking for so much something less, then it would be very difficult for later to ask for something more. But let me actually show you what here. This is Mike Waltz. Honestly, guys, do these not do Mike Waltz and Hegseth? Do they not look the same a little bit? I don't know. The facial structure, I think, it's a little bit the same. But here, look at this. This is what. So, and again, both of them are military, right? So Pete Hegseth is the defense minister, and Mike Waltz is the White House's military advisor. Oh, yeah. Actually, let me read the super chats before. Jackie is saying, oh, thank you, Jackie. That's very generous. We got an orange super chat. Wow, that's very generous. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the super chat from Australia. Guys, we do need the super chats for this channel to survive. And also, if you guys could become members, that really also helps the channel. So become members. And I'm doing more member-only live streams. Remember that we're going to have at least one member-only live stream every week, sometimes even two. So if you're a member, that helps the channel, but also you get access to exclusive videos, right? And then BT gave a super chat, said, I could listen to Armin's wild ass all day. Well, thank you. I appreciate you enjoying the show. Thank you. Thank you. Let me play this part to see that Mike Waltz was saying something similar.
The president said he's going to hold Iran responsible as well. Envoy Steve Witkoff said in an interview that Iran had responded to this U.S. outreach via multiple channels in regard to a letter sent by the president. Witkoff described it as an offer to Iran to create a verification program so no.
See, Witkoff was talking about verification program multiple times. Verification means that, do you understand? These are the two key terms: verification, dismantlement. So Witkoff, like this was a while back. Back then, Witkoff was talking about verification as well. Verification means that you still enriching uranium, but we're there to watch it so that you're not enriching more than before. That is basically Obama's deal. That's the JCPOA. And also that is not good, because even if you have observers that are constantly watching, like, okay, it's only 3%, it's only 3%. If Iran one day wants, because all the enrichment uranium facilities are still there, one day could be like, you know what? Let's say, for example, Trump is not the president anymore, the Democrats come to office, then the Iranian administration could be like, okay, get the hell out of here, observers. We're going to go back to 60%, right? Because all the enrichment facilities are there still. So no, what we want is somebody come and blow, like, either we bomb your enrichment, uranium enrichment facilities, or we come watch you destroy them in front of our eyes yourself. We send people there. We look everywhere in your fucking country. You give us full access, and we go everywhere, in every fucking hole that you have. We'll look for enrichment uranium facilities, and we will watch you destroy them in front of our fucking eyes. Okay? So no verification, dismantlement. So let's see what Mike Waltz says here.
About weaponization of nuclear material. Can you clarify, is the U.S. seeking the dismantlement of Iran's nuclear program, or verification like what President Obama put in place back in 2015 and President Trump pulled out of?
Full dismantlement. Okay. Iran has to give up its program.
Okay, somebody send this man. Hey, Trump, send this man to Oman, not Waltz. Why are you sending Waltz? Has he not gotten the memo? The problem is that when Waltz met with Arakchi, he already talked about verification. So how are you going to be now? You start with higher and then go lower. How did you start with lower and now how are you going to go higher?
In a way that the entire world can see. And this is, look, as President Trump has said, this is coming to a head. All options are on the table. And it is time for Iran to walk away completely from its desire to have a nuclear weapon. And they will not and cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapons program. That's enrichment,
to the
that is weaponization, and that it's strategic missile program. Can you only imagine? We've seen the death and destruction that they're doing through its proxies between Hezbollah, the Assad regime, the Houthis, and what have you. If they had nuclear weapons, the entire Middle East would explode in an arms race. That is completely unacceptable to our national security. I won't get into what the back and forth has been, but Iran is in the worst place it has been from its own national security since 1979, thanks to Hezbollah, Hamas, the Assad regime, and its own air defenses being taken out by the Israelis.
So there's still a chance for diplomacy. I know you don't want to get into
I mean, the president has all options on the table, but we want to be clear. This isn't some kind of, kind of tit for tat that we had under the Obama administration or Biden. This is the full program. Give it up or there'll be consequences.
Wait, I have a new video here. I want to make sure I download this as well because it's very, very interesting. But let me actually show you guys what's happening in Iran. Why is this not downloading? This is a very important video. I hope I get to show it to you guys. Maybe if it downloads, I will show it to you guys. All right, so let me actually show you something crazy. Sarah, you're here. I don't know if you've seen this. Let me. So I've already shown you similar things like this, but this is in Iran. Let me see. Do I know where this is? This is in a university in Tehran. Okay. Do you guys notice what's happening? Guys, look at this image. Tell me what you're seeing. This is like, I already shown you pictures on previous streams. Oh, yeah. Sarah says, yes, I have seen that. I've already shown you pictures in Iran of the Iranian officials in different cities coming out and painting over American flags and just leaving the Israeli flag on the ground for people to walk on. And now this is another example of that. It seems like the Iranian regime is trying to signal to the Americans that we're okay with being friends. Look, for example, here in this university, they're putting these. Yeah, I know it's an American flag, but look, let me get closer. Here, let's get closer. You see these, you know, what is this called? Carton boxes, or they put something there so you don't have to step on the American flag. So they're slowly removing American flags for people to walk on, and then eventually they came in here, and this is the more recent update, right? So this is what's happening in Iran. Like, they're removing American flags in different places. Oh, this is very important. Who cares? They're signaling to both the United States and to their own regime supporters to tone down on the anti-Americanism. Kenny think that's good. That's actually not good, because they're like, let's just focus on anti-Israeli and let's basically try to tickle Trump's balls. And maybe this is a survival mechanism. So we do not appreciate, this, because they're basically trying to trick Trump into be like, hey, we could actually be friends with you. We'll just be hostile to Israel. How about that? Not to America. So yeah, actually Ziv is saying Tahrir. This is actually finally, this is an example of Tahrir. Yes, I agree. You know how sometimes people say like, oh, Tahrir, and I'm like, fuck, this is not Tahrir. This is actually what they mean. We finally got to a genuine example of Tahrir. This is Tahrir. Okay. This, because you know how I know this is Tahrir? Because they say because I showed you in previous streams that the regime officials say we will do whatever necessary for the survival of the regime. Whatever lies we need to say, whatever things we need to say, whenever acts we need to do, whenever pretending we need to do for the survival of regime, we will do everything necessary. Okay, so yeah, this is finally the accusation of Tahrir in this live stream. Finally, they're accurate. Okay. This is true. You got it. So okay, let me show you something that I have not verified, but I just saw, and I've managed to download the video. I don't know, Sarah, if you've seen this video or if this has been verified. Okay, this has not been verified, but this is a video coming out of Iran. This is the previous. This is the previous. An Iranian in America. This is the previous. This is the previous embassy of Iran in United States. So I think just heard about that from a local. So they're cleaning it up. They're getting it. Look at this. So you guys know that ever since the Iranian regime have came into power and the toppling of the Pahlavi dynasty before the Islamic Republic, there has not been any embassies of America in Iran or any embassies of Iran in America. This is the embassy of Iran in America during the Pahlavi dynasty, which has been shut down for the past more than 40 years. Okay, so let's see what's happening here.
این سفارت کشور ایران که ویدیوشو درست کردیم، بعد از اینکه ما اومدیم تمام این ورودیایی که میشد رفت داخل و دید و همه رو بستن و گیت گذاشتن.
So they apparently closed the gate.
خط کشی‌های جدید برای پارکینگ.
So apparently they made new paintings for parking. So these paints are new. They're making painting for cars.
کردن که جای پارکینگ درست کردن. درا رو دارن بازسازی میکنن.
He's saying they're repairing the doors.
و اونورم تمام جلوهای رو خط کشی کردن که این.
So there's new fresh paint over there for cars as well.
احتمالاً نشون از این داره که این سفارت قراره به زودی توسط کشور ایران دوباره استفاده بشه.
So he's saying, the cameraman is saying, if this is probably means that this embassy is going to be used again by Iran.
و
by the Iranian regime.
برقراری روابط هست.
So this means that there might be relationships between the United States and
همه گیت‌های جدید نصب شده. تمام این درخت‌ها رو دوباره بهشون رسیدن و
So apparently they came out and they are somebody is tending to the trees.
و اینجا هم اگه نگاه کنید میبینید که تمام این گیت ها و کودا و خط کشی ها همه انجام شده و دارن سفارت رو بازسازی میکنن که
Yeah, they're repairing shit.
دوباره ازش استفاده کنن.
Yeah, guys, please like the stream because again, tell me where are you seeing these things that I'm showing you, except anywhere else, guys. If this happens, if United States has starts having a relationship. Oh, thank you, Kenny. Thank you so much for your super chat. If United States starts having a friendly relationship with the Iranian regime, that is such a betrayal of Israel. Not just of the Iranian people, but Israel, which is a U.S. ally. This is why the Israelis are pissed right now and they are angry. This will mean this will be a huge help to the Iranian regime for its survival for years to come. So that's why it's very important for Americans to pressure the Trump administration to make sure to try to for this deal to not go through. And right now the Netanyahu administration, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to deal with Trump because they know that this guy has no chill. So it's very important that whoever is of Americans, you call your congressman, you call your senators. They're like, hey, like if you don't say no deal because Trump loves deals, okay? But just like I hope if there's a deal, it needs to be full dismantlement. And honestly, if Trump administration wants full dismantlement, then the chances of a deal going through becomes very low. Or if it happens, it will just becomes very damaging to the regime from within. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that things like this are happening. That we might actually get a friendlier Trump administration with the Iranian regime that the Democrats ever were if things go the way that Witkoff is negotiating. So we have to be very, very careful. Like this is why I always people think Netanyahu is controlling the United States. Like what the fuck? No. There are many things the United States does that doesn't go in the direction that Israel wants to go. Like I'm collecting a list of things that the United States does under both Democrats and Republicans that was exactly the opposite of what Israelis wanted to do. I mean, I wish Israelis actually had more influence in U.S. politics than they do right now. In fact, the AIPAC lobby is not actually as powerful as it should be. In fact, it's not even an Israeli lobby. Like China has lobby, Canada has a lobby, Germany has a lobby, France has a lobby, even the Iranian regime has a lobby in the United States. Israel doesn't actually have a major lobby in the United States because AIPAC is not even an Israeli lobby. It's American Jewish lobbies, Americans who live in American citizen lobby. So we need actually more powerful lobbies so that shit like this doesn't happen. I mean, look, as much as Trump wants to say like it's my way or a highway, you saw what happened to the tariffs. You know, he came out and he wanted to put tariffs on everyone. And then people came, there was so much pressure, he removed them. And then he wanted to put more than 100% tariff on China. And then they came and put pressure on him. And he said, like, okay, tariff on China, except technology, like iPhones and everything else. So, like, which was the major point of the tariffs on China was technology, right? So, so you can see pressure, even on somebody like Trump, pressure works. So we need more powerful Israeli lobby in the United States, and we also need more powerful pro-Pahlavi Iranian lobby, like Nufti, like the FDD organization and the Nufti, NUFDI, right? Is that what it is? So a Nufti is a good lobby. So guys, when it comes to Iranian lobby in United States, NIAC is the lobby that is in line with the Iranian regime. That's the lobby that you should be against. And Nufti, NUFDI, is the Iranian lobby in the United States that is in line with Pahlavi. That is the lobby that if it becomes more powerful in the United States, things will go better for both Iranian people and for Israel. So Israeli people, Jewish Americans, look up Nufti. And that is a lobby that needs to have more. And guys, by the way, Mufti managed to recently be able to get the U.S. House to pass a law. So actually, they're becoming more powerful. Mufti, they're becoming more influential. So look that up. So these things. So what is Trump actually sticking by his words with? Trump's words are not very clear, okay, regarding what he wants. Trump says like, I just want Iran not to have nuclear weapons. So what that means, we have to see if it's more like a Hexet and Mike Waltz understanding of what that means, or more of a Steve Waltz understanding. And what Trump thinks himself is not very clear. And Trump sometimes is ambiguous on purpose so that whatever happens, he could claim victory. But let me actually see what you guys are saying. Again, Kenny, thank you so much for the super chat. Let me just respond to the comments. And I don't know, Sarah, are you here? Right after I read the comments, I'm going to go and respond to people's comments. I'm going to go to the other channel, because right now the Iranian Sarah is highlighting the comments. Thank you so much, Sarah. And for the next show that we have, which is going to be on my personal channel, the Israeli Sarah is going to be there, and she's going to be highlighting the comments there. And again, the second show that we have on my personal channel, it's on the Armin Navabi channel, okay? And the link is in the description, and this is the link in the live chat as well. The topic is going to be religion lied, science is actually giving us eternal life, okay? I will show you how we're getting to immortality probably sooner than a lot of you think. So that's the link. Again, on my personal channel, we're going to discuss topics that are not geopolitically related. So because it doesn't match this channel, we're taking it to my personal channel. Okay. So right after I'm done here, we're going to go over there. Okay. Let me see what your comments are. Yusuf is saying, some hours ago, I was noticing that there were Iranians in social media panicking that Trump decided to use the same playbook as Obama and Biden when it came to Iran. Yes. Now you know why. Now you know why that they're panicking over that. And it's not just Iranians, it's also Israelis as well. Corey saying, so I guess Hezbollah is not getting disarmed. Oh no, Hezbollah is getting disarmed. Like Hezbollah is getting disarmed by Lebanese government. That's a completely different thing. No, Hezbollah, well, I mean, Hezbollah is trying not to get disarmed, but Hezbollah is it's not just United States and Israel. The Lebanese government right now is trying to disarm Hezbollah. That's a different conversation. So that Jewish expert is saying, why does Iran want Rubio in negotiations? Well, first, but Iranian people? No. Okay, the Iranian regime doesn't want Rubio in negotiations. The Iranian people would prefer Rubio in negotiations because Rubio is a much more Iranian regime hawk than this Mike Waltz guy. Okay, so here's the thing, guys. There is I'm going to simplify. It's not this simple, but I'm going to simplify it for the sake of being able to categorize. Okay, when you look at the American politics, there are, if you want to simplify it, there's 4 groups. Okay, the Democrats have 2 groups: the center left liberals and the far left progressives. And progressives in the sense that they're either woke or socialist or commie. Okay, so either economic or culturally. Okay, so those are those 2 groups. When it comes to the Republicans, we have, I know this might not be accurate for some of them, but it's neocons and MAGA. Okay, neocons and MAGA. So the good thing about the neocons is that they're a lot more aggressive regarding the Iranian regime, because the MAGA Republicans are a lot more isolationists and they don't want to be aggressive against anyone. Many of them, they just want to focus at America. Then the neocon, that's a good, that's what Israelis and the Iranian people, they prefer the language sometimes that comes out of neocons' mouth. Like, for example, Rubio is a little bit closer to that. Rubio is very aggressively anti-Hamas and anti-the regime, so that's why we love that guy. I mean, he would be a better president when it comes to Hamas and the Iranian regime than Trump, like Rubio, right? He would be a blessing to Israel and to the Iranian people. The Iranian regime prefers Witkoff. The Iranian regime would not like Rubio. So the problem with some neocons, again, not all, for example, Rubio doesn't have that problem. The problem with some neocons is that they are supporters of the MEK rather instead of Pahlavi, right? The MEK is a terrorist is a terrorist Islamic communist cult that is hated by the vast majority of the Iranian people, and some neocons like Pompeo, like Giuliani, like what is that mustache guy? What is the mustache guy? Why do I always forget the mustache guy? The big mustache guy. Bolton, right? Like these people, like Mike Pence. These are they are very close to MEK, and MEK should not be supported. Okay. Yeah, Bolton. Exactly. So Rubio talks like a lot of these neocons, which is very aggressive against the Iranian regime and Hamas and all of these other proxies, and he doesn't have the MEK problem. So he's very ideal. He's very good. Love that guy. Let me see. Guerra is saying Witkoff suddenly changed his position on what he said on Fox News. Exactly, he did. Yes, because probably people were like, "What the fuck, man?" Like somebody made a call. There's a lot of pressure behind the scenes. Here's the thing. This is what some MAGA people are upset about, because Trump, when he came into power, a lot of MAGA people thought that his cabinet would be full MAGA. But when Trump came into power, his cabinet is a mix of MAGA and neocons. And some MAGA people are upset about that. Like, for example, one very notable person that is right-leaning person that is upset about that is Tucker Carlson, right? He's much more on the isolationist side. Like, for example, Tucker Carlson is very, very much against the United States doing any military action in the Middle East. So our talks is saying Armin ran away from Iran, but encouraging other people to fight and die to overthrow the Iranian regime. When did I ever encourage people to fight? When did I ever do that? I never did that. You know, when you think like you have something on me, but it shows that you don't even understand my arguments. You don't know what I'm. This is a straw man. You're full of shit. In fact, I have been very persistent on making sure not to encourage people to do anything. I have been doing this constantly on my Persian channel, especially. I've been telling people that our position, Iranians outside of Iran, our position is not to tell what Iranian people inside Iran should be doing. Instead of telling them what to do, we watch what they do, and then whatever they decide they do, we support them. It's their decision. I'm actually somebody that have been chasing and speaking against people who tell the Iranians outside of Iran who try to make demands for Iranians inside Iran, because they're talking from a position of safety and security, asking people in Iran to do certain things and taking the risk for our desires and our dreams. I am actually somebody who has been very, very critical of that. So this is the exact opposite of my philosophy and my narratives on our Persian channel. By the way, guys, if you speak Persian, you could see the link to our Persian channel. So you're full of shit. This is completely the opposite of what I've been saying. And you have no idea what I stand for and what I say. And this shows that you're empty-handed when it comes to trying to criticize me. You don't know me. You don't understand me. And you don't have anything against me. So you just resort to lies. Vic. Okay, so Vic is saying it was also reported that Russia wouldn't defend Iran if they were attacked, or did I imagine that? Oh, of course, Russia will defend Iran with a very strongly worded letter. Okay, so these are of course Russia will never enter into a war with who? With the United States and Israel. I mean, Russia and Israel have good relationships, semi-good relationships. How do you think that Russia didn't even go into military action to defend Assad? Assad and Russia were closer allies than the Iranian regime than Russia. Russia has military assets in Syria, and they didn't even go to war for defending Assad. And you think they're going to go to war to defend the Iranian regime? Why the fuck would they do that? Why would that be even worth their hassle? Okay, here's the extent, to the extent that Russia will be supporting the Iranian regime. Strongly worded letters against America's involvement and selling of weaponry to the Iranian regime. That's about it. There's no way that they're going to actually enter into a war with them. By the way, thank you, mods. I see the Israeli Sarah just cleaned up some spam in the live chat. I appreciate you guys admitting the chat. Thank you so much for that. And then Primus is saying, Armin, I have read online about both Khomeini and Khamenei issuing fatwas against nuclear weapons, yet the Iranian regime is trying to make nuclear weapons. Is it possible that both leaders lied? So a fatwa is not a revelation from God, and even Islamically, even a revelation from God can be undone. So just like you could issue a fatwa to say we shouldn't be doing something, you could as easily then issue another fatwa that undoes the fatwa. A fatwa doesn't mean like, oh, this is what we're going to do, and that's about it, and there's no way to undo this. So even a revelation from God, which is, for example, says that you cannot eat pork, allows you to violate that. Like God allows you to eat pork, for example, if you're starving and you need to eat pork for your survival. So if the revelation from God can be violated for survival, of course a fatwa, which is so much less than a revelation from God, I mean, don't tell Khamenei that because he might disagree. Even a fatwa which is much less than a revelation from God, of course you could violate that when in their minds it would become a matter of survival, right? And both Khomeini and Khamenei have declared things that should never be done, and they have then done the opposite. For example, Khomeini famously said that when the Iran-Iraq war was going, he said that this war will never end until all fitna and all corruption all around the globe is defeated. This war will continue. So Khomeini's mind was that he declared that the war will always continue until we basically invade the whole planet again, something like that, right? We spread Islam everywhere. And then eventually he said he famously said that he drank the poison, a cup of poison, like metaphorically, meaning that he accepted to end the war with Saddam. So Khomeini has famously gone against things that he declared would never happen. And Khamenei has done that as well. Khamenei we have many videos of Khamenei saying that they will never, ever negotiate with the United States. And even in an impossible hypothetical, if they negotiated with the United States, they would not negotiate with the Trump administration. Well, now here they're negotiating with the Trump administration. So just because there was issued a fatwa, that doesn't mean they're not going to do it. In fact, if anything, we have so much evidence. We have leaked audio evidence that throughout the JCPOA, even after they signed a deal with Obama, they were constantly working on making a nuclear weapon, not just enrichment. Like that's what Fakhrizadeh was killed by Mossad for this exact same reason. Because even during the JCPOA, the deal was in place. They were constantly working on making a nuclear weapon. Darko is saying, wait, Trump is okay with authoritarian regime staying in power? Well, color me surprised. Yes. Artrax is saying, Armin, why can Israel genocidal maniacs? Oh, great. It's so great when people, I love it. I love it when people who come and they're against me, they come and prove themselves to be some anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli maniacs. It gives me so much self-confidence that the people who hate me and don't like me just always come and demonstrate that they're a bunch of fucking racist, anti-Semitic, anti-Israeli loons. It just makes me feel so happy that I'm hated by these kinds of people, right? Artax say, Armin, why can Israel genocidal maniacs have nuclear weapons, but Iran cannot have nuclear weapon? Well, because Israel is not a genocidal maniac, does not have a genocidal maniac government, but the Iranian regime does, especially against its own people. That's the reason. It's very simple to understand. Because Israel is a democratic, liberal country that respects human rights, that has an army that is the most humane, the most moral army in the entire world, and the Iranian regime has the exact opposite of that. That's why. Amir saying, is it possible both sides try to buy time for something? No, not both sides. The Iranian regime obviously makes sense for the Iranian regime to try to delay things and buy times, but the Trump administration is very motivated to end things quickly, especially right now. For two reasons. First, because Trump promised these things to happen fast, but also because Trump right now needs a distraction because of the tariff things are not going in the way that he promised. And it doesn't look good for him. So he needs a win somewhere really, really fast. Sketch Therapy saying, why are you assuming the framing for Americans is the totality of the deal? I'm not assuming that, because the framing of Americans is contradictory, and there's infighting right now in America over this. People within the Trump administration are not seeing eye to eye. So there's no totality on everything, given that this is an evolving issue. So that's not what I said. I said the very opposite of that. And then Sketch is saying, that makes no sense. This is how they sell it to us, not all the points on the deal. This is not like a 4D chess, 4D upside down, underwater, blindfolded chess that they have planned everything. This is the reason why we're hearing these things, the contradictions, is not like a pre-planned thing. This is because there's infighting within the Trump cabinet. The people within the Trump cabinet do not see eye to eye on these with each other on these things, and that's why we're seeing these things. This is not because they all are on the same page and everything is planned and they are basically moving every chess piece by design in the right place. This is not how it works. This is not how it even works in dictatorial countries, let alone in democratic countries. I mean, this is actually how it should work. Democracy works like this. Democracy works. I mean, this is actually a compliment, because we want infighting, because democracy works because different groups are fighting with each other, and the best arguments, the best methodology should works. I mean, democratic methods are messy. Okay, so even when I say this is messy, this is actually not me speaking against them, but this is the reason why we have the Witkoffs. This is the competition between the MAGA ideology and the neocon ideology within the Trump administration. That's why we're seeing what's happening, and we are not against all of them. So some of you are thinking like we're against, but just because we're against Witkoff, that we're against the entirety of the Trump's cabinet. No, Trump, like Marco Rubio, for example, is in Trump's cabinet, and he's fucking amazing. He's amazing. So there are people within the Trump administration that we love and that we support. Okay. Yes. Let's go. I mean, guys, I mean, for example, like we already saw from the Signal chat, even the people who are completely in line, like you could see based on if you go read the discussions that they had in the Signal group, there are disagreements even among the people that seemed to be completely in line, right? Like the position over Europe, the position over Houthis, the position regarding how much we should be involved. Again, some of these hawks are more, for example, again, Hexet is good for us. Mike Waltz is good for us. Again, I don't care if they are experienced or not. Right now on the Iran issue, their position is good for us. Marco Rubio is good for us. Okay, Steve Waltz is not good for us. Steve Waltz is good. I mean, even if Steve Waltz is not good for us, I'm hoping that the rest of the cabinet, the neocon part of the cabinet, manages to put pressure on him. Right, that might happen. That might happen in our favor. As I showed you, it was effective. And Trump actually sometimes doesn't want to get into the details. Trump is like, here's what I want generally. You guys go fight it out. Sometimes he actually enjoys seeing people within his cabinet to fight against each other because he wants to see who wins. The Brandolorian is saying we need a deal, not another war. What we need, it depends on. We might need a war. We might need a war if the Iranian regime does not submit and does not dismantle its nuclear abilities. An Iranian regime that has the capacity to build nuclear weapons, you sometimes need war. If you cannot force the Iranian regime to stop that, I mean, even if you sometimes you need no war, sometimes you need the threat of war to stop war, and sometimes you need war for the sake of long-lasting peace. Okay, no war is not good for long-lasting peace. I mean, Israelis know this. Israelis know this. Sometimes, for the sake of long-lasting peace, you need war. Oh, we got a super chat. Ginga, thank you. Saying Tucker Qatar. Tucker Qatar Luson. Yeah, okay. So you're referring to Tucker being closer to the Qatari government now, which is embarrassing. Absolutely fucking embarrassing. This is the horseshoe theory in effect, right? You know, so because we were constantly telling how these woke far leftist people were being sponsored and supported by the Qatari government. Now you can see, because a lot of these far lefty people are also isolationists, right? And far right-leaning people, some of them are isolationists, and you can see that the Qatari people who used to be who support and sponsor far lefty wokistanis are now supporting Tucker Carlson. So this is an absolute embarrassing. You see, so this is a confirmation that this lunacy sometimes comes from the left, and sometimes it comes from the right. Right? Yeah, woke right. Exactly. Anti-Islam. We call these people woke right. Okay, and then Sarah saying, and every lobby has lobbies who are also lobbied for. It's not in a vacuum. Yes, it's complicated. That's a good point. And then Infidel Avash is saying Trump's administration has agreed to hold the talk in Oman again as the Islamic regime requested. This is I'm gonna go look up. This is just recent news, so I haven't seen this, but this is fucking embarrassing if this is true. So the Iranian, if this is true, the Iranian regime is going to have such a great time on this media right now. They're going to be like, look, we're basically dictating where we have, because the Iranian regime doesn't want to have the talks in Rome. They prefer to have the talks in Oman because the Oman government is very fair, according to the Iranian regime, to them. So the Iranian regime always thinks that if the negotiation, they don't want the negotiations to be in the UAE. They hate that. Qatar is kind of okay, but Oman is the best place for the Iranian regime to have the negotiations. So if they have pressured the American side to not have the next round of negotiations in Rome, but to have it in Oman, in Muscat, and they accepted that, that is so. I mean, I cannot believe how much they're giving, how much the Trump administration is giving in to the Iranian regime's demands. I hope this is not true, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I hope this is a trap. I don't know. Some of you Trump supporters are saying, no, this is a trap. You know what? For once, I hope that you're right and I'm wrong. And this is all just a amazing 4D upside down underwater in space blindfolded chess move that is going to surprise all of us. Okay. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I hope so. Okay. Anyways, guys, we're going to go to my personal channel right after this, after I drink some water and take a pee break and everything like that. And then we're going to go in my personal channel now that we covered this topic. And I'm going to guys, subscribe to this channel because I'm going to keep a close eye on this negotiations. I'm going to update you about how this thing is going because nobody is discussing this like we are here. Okay. But right now, let's shift the topic completely. Go to a completely something that is not related at all. On my personal channel, guys, on my personal channel, we're going to be talking more about, economic stuff, tech stuff, more with a huge focus on the future, on how things are technologically and economically changing the fabric of our society, and we're entering a whole new paradigm and new world order based on the changes that are coming in technology, and a lot of the things that have been promised by religion is now becoming true, but not through metaphysics or by super material things based on fantasy and false promises and lies spread by religion, but in the actual real world. Like, I will show you all the things that humans want and couldn't get, so they created fantasy worlds in religion for. Now science is delivering them one by one, with technology. And this episode on my channel, on my personal channel, is going to be about how we are achieving immortality very, very soon, and how what you should be doing to make sure that you get to experience that as well, and you get to be part of that. Okay, so come over to my personal channel, and this is the link to that channel, and we're going to be having a conversation. Again, the chat is going to be part of the conversation as well. And thank you so much, Carl. And by the way, the link is in the description as well to the stream that we're about to do. Thank you so much, Carl, for the super sticker. Guys, you have been very generous today. Thank you to all the people who have sent super stickers and super chats. But if you don't or can't support us financially, please, 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 at least like the stream, because liking actually really helps. And you could see, I'll be honest, guys, even if you disagree with me, the level of detailed analysis that we have here is unmatched anywhere else. Okay, so if you think that needs to be appreciated and more people need to watch this analysis here and be part of the discussion, like the stream and recommend this channel, subscribe so you don't miss our future live streams, and leave a comment, because your comments really, really help grow this channel. Okay, so I'll see you on my personal channel. Just give me like a 5 or 10-minute break, and I will start that stream very soon. Okay, see you guys on the other side. Bye.